It is April 1st, so it's time for me to do another monthly update video, and I promise I'm not going to do any April Fool's jokes on you in this video, although, wouldn't that be the best joke of all to sneak one in despite saying that? So you'll have to figure it out yourself. I always like to begin by highlighting three big things that either happened in the month before or we've got coming up. So the first of these is something that's kind of straddling both March and April. At the very end of March, I started a new online class, 6 key Platonic dialogues, with the first class session just a few days ago. We've had a couple new signups, so people are still jumping into the class, which is cool because we do recorded sessions so they can catch up. So if you're interested in it, I'll put a link to it below. There's still time to get in on that class if you'd like to do that. We got 7 more class sessions coming up. Big thing number 2 is, speaking of online classes, later on this month, I'm hoping to start releasing the first of the asynchronous, that's learn on your own, at your own pace, online classes. I'm getting one ready on Aristotle's categories. I've got some other ones lined up as well, so keep an eye out for that. We'll put an announcement and probably do a video about that. Third thing is something that happened just before the month began, and I'll probably do a little bit of writing about this in my Substack. So I took a fall, I biffed it, walking along a trail on the way back to the office. Don't really know exactly what happened. Either my ankle rolled or I tripped or, stumbled on something, but messed myself up. Not too bad, but, not great either. So I'm kind of recovering from that. That put me out of action a little bit the last couple days. So those are the big things for March and April. Let's talk now about what went on in March. So a lot of events in March. We had a really cool online conference that was hosted by the Plato's Academy Center on Psychology and Philosophy of Anger, and I got to speak for about 15 minutes about early Christian thinkers on anger. Hopefully we'll have video of that coming out later on this month, and it was very well attended. People enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the conference, so that was pretty cool. I did my usual events, an Ask Me Anything session that was pretty well attended. We just finished up with a Understanding Anger 2.0 that was focused on Plutarch's works, and that was actually pretty good too. Got a lot of interesting discussion going in that one. We also did Worlds of Speculative Fiction, and we kind of finished up with the Witcher series by Andrzej Sapkowski. We did the last 3 of the novels, so books 5 through 7, although he has written some other ones since then, but those are prequels or stuff that's kind of inserted in between the stuff. So we brought the series to a close, and Scott and I got together for a really great classic metal class session with a surprise, attendee who turned out to be a music producer who had a lot to say about this stuff. We were focusing on the Nordic metal scene in the 1970s and the 1980s. If you know anything about heavy metal, you know that the Nordic countries are just massively represented from the 1990s onward. So we wanted to look at, well, how did that actually happen? What was the groundwork for that? As I mentioned, I started my online 8-week meeting for class sessions every week on Saturdays. Class 6 key Platonic dialogues, and that has been very well attended. I'm quite happy about that. Got a lot of great discussion going in the class sessions. You can still get in on it if you want to. I think I will probably close enrollment after week 2 session because we don't want people jumping in, halfway through or anything like that. Did a lot of writing this month in my Substack, which you see a link to below. And I went on a number of podcasts, a lot of recording this last month, and 2 of them actually came out. So one is with people that I've been on with quite a bit in the past, Acid Horizon, and we had a really interesting conversation about this guy, Peter Thiel, who, you could argue owns Vice President Vance, and, some of his interesting ideas about libertarianism that have certainly changed over the years. He's not really identifiable as that anymore. And then I had a great session with the host of What is Stoicism? We talked about common misconceptions about Stoicism. We got to chat about one of my, favorite guys, Cicero, and how he fits in with the Stoics. So that was actually a great session too. I'll put links to those below as well. And you probably have seen a lot, if you're following me in social media, a lot of cat pictures because I did a lot of volunteering and even just some stopping in at Almost Home Cat Rescue here in Milwaukee. And I do want to give a shout out about something that's really, really cool. So we, Almost Home is a completely volunteer organization. We are rapidly approaching 500 adoptions, and the shelter has been open. It was a foster network before it became a shelter, but it's only been around for about, say, 2.5 years. So that's a pretty good record of placement because we don't just let anybody adopt, right? You can't just walk in and say, I want that cat. You have to go through a process. There's a lot involved in it, and we take really great care of the cats. So that's, kind of a cool milestone that we're coming up to. Did a lot of video work. You may have seen the 2 Ideas That Matter conversation videos, one of which was with you could call her the absolute heavyweight of critical thinking studies in the present day, Linda Elder, right? We had an amazing conversation about not just her most recent book, but critical thinking in general and how the field has been, changing, what the term means. That was really awesome. And I got to talk in the other one with my friend and colleague, Andrew Robinson over in Scotland, where he is working on a really interesting doctoral dissertation having to do with the emotion of grief. And he's doing some really interesting and I think important work in the field. By the way, if you want to support him, I'll put a link to his GoFundMe. You have to fund yourself for most of the students over there, and but he's a little bit short. So, feel free if you want to help out somebody who I, heartily endorse to help him out. I also did another fake quotes video on Socrates this time. There's all sorts of stuff that people should know better, clearly not by Socrates, that gets attributed to him. And I did a couple Sadler Stories videos as well, released those. Maybe you've seen those and enjoyed those. And I did a funny Twitter conversation. These are always kind of ad hoc. I see something on Twitter and I'm like, oh, I should probably do something about this. And so I did a really interesting one on somebody who could really be called an evil scientist or mad scientist, Jian Kui-hei, and his assertion that ethics is holding back scientific progress and innovation, which some people actually agreed with, but most people rightly condemned and had funny things to say about it. I also got a book review done, and I'm really happy about that. I finally got around to reviewing a book that was sent to me over a year ago, Philosophy for Business Leaders by Mahmoud Rasmi, and gave it a strong endorsement. And What else have I been doing video-wise? Well, you've probably seen the videos on one of Philip K. Dick's most famous novels, Ubik, coming out, and I'm probably about halfway through the series shooting-wise at this point, so people have been enjoying those. What else do we got going on? Well, the Sadler's Lectures podcast, we did a whole bunch of different things. We finished up with Seneca's Letters. We jumped into Pierre Hadot's Philosophy as a Way of Life, did 7 episodes on that. I went through McIntyre's Plain Persons and Moral Philosophy, a text which, by the way, I teach in my ethics classes. And we did 7 episodes on that, and we started releasing some of the episodes on Michel de Montaigne's essays, beginning with To Philosophize is to Learn to Die. I also released, quite a number. I think I actually got maybe 4 in this month of Mind and Desire podcast episodes I originally released them to my paid Substack subscribers, and then they come out for the general public about a month later. And we hit episode 30, so I put out a call, hey, what should we do as the topic? And somebody had a great suggestion, kindness. So I did an episode about the importance of kindness. And I did some other stuff, exclusive things, some videos for my Substack paid supporters and YouTube channel members, some videos for them, and a number of other stuff as well. But that is pretty much it for the month of March. All right, what do we have lined up for the month of April? We're going to begin this Saturday at noon with the usual Ask Me Anything. You can find that, by the way, streaming now, not just in YouTube, but also Facebook Live. Facebook, by the way, though, is scrubbing the live stuff, so I don't know how long that's going to be around. And LinkedIn Live. Most people, I think, find it through YouTube, but I'll be answering questions, so you can pop in for that. If you'd like to have a more intimate conversation at 2 o'clock, so the AMA is at 12 noon Central Time. At 2 o'clock, we'll have our philosophy chat for Patreon supporters, and you can join in on that. At 12 o'clock noon the next weekend, on the 12th, we'll be doing Worlds of Speculative Fiction again. And I'm really having a great time reading the stuff for this because I'm revisiting Jim Butcher's The Dresden Files. We're doing books 5 through 8. We did books 1 through 4 either last year or the year before. And wow, there are a lot of spoilers, a lot of really cool plot twists, a lot of character development that is going on, and a lot of world building. So if you want to join us for that, it begins with a video premiere at noon Central. And then after the video premiere is over, we do some live chat during that. We will convene again in Zoom and, have a more prolonged discussion of it, more interactive. On the 19th at noon, classic metal class, Scott will be joining me again, and we're going to discuss a really, really interesting topic. What exactly was speed metal, this transitional genre that people like me in the 1980s got really excited about, but nobody seemed to be able to define, and it kind of like bled over and morphed into other genres, in particular thrash metal, right, which effectively supplanted it. So we're going to be doing some definitional stuff, some classificatory stuff, and looking at how genres arise out of each other. So if you want to join us for that, that would be, great. We have live chat with that, so people can make comments and we respond to them. Finally, on the 26th, another live streaming event. Also at noon, we will be having Understanding Anger 2.0. This time around, we are going to look at a school of philosophy that we haven't hit on yet, because we've done the Platonists, the Aristotelians, not all of them, of course, but Aristotle at least, the Stoics, the Epicureans. what did the cynics have to say about the emotion of anger? We know that they provoked anger, but what did they have to say about the emotion? We will be delving into that. So if you want to join me for that, I'll be presenting. People will be commenting. I'll be responding to comments. Usual stuff will be going on. That Plato class that I mentioned, I have 2 academic classes currently running, which will be finishing up basically by the end of April. So academic semester will be over pretty soon. And I'll be writing a lot in Substack, but you should also see me on at least 3 different podcasts, things that were recorded previously and should be coming out fairly soon. So there's Creative Odyssey. That was a really great conversation that I enjoyed. The Flyover podcast, and Turning to the Mystics, where we delved into Gabriel Marcel, another one of my favorite authors as well. So that should be interesting. And I think I may have some other things like that lined up as well, because people are reaching out to me and saying, hey, can I come on for this or that? Video work. I will be doing more book reviews. I wanted to get to more of them last month, but, kind of got held up with other things. I'll be doing some more Sadler Stories videos. I also want to do another fake quotes video. I'm trying to put stuff together right now for a video on Hegel. I'm also doing some background research into some other authors, because I think these are important to do. I'll be doing some ideas that matter conversations, most likely. That stuff's kind of in the workings right now. I'll probably shoot some more videos about the services that I offer. You may have seen the one I did about tutorial sessions last month. I also need to do like a longer one on philosophical counseling. And, I've got some other stuff that I do as well that people might want to know about. And I'll be producing a lot more videos on Ubik. We'll finish up the work in April. I'll also be shooting, but I don't know if I'll get around to releasing some core concept videos that might get people a little bit excited, depending on, what you geek out about. So I'm going to be shooting some videos on an author I haven't done. I sometimes teach in classes, but I haven't discussed him in video, and that is Francis Bacon. So what do you think that's going to be? The 4 idols. We'll do a video on each of those. And then we've got another, what would you call it? A 4-video series, I'm thinking quad what, on David Hume's essays discussing 4 philosophies in terms of people: the Platonist, the skeptic, the Stoic, and the Epicurean. But I don't know, given all the other stuff I'm going to be doing, if we'll actually get around to releasing those. If they're not released in April, you'll certainly see them in May. Podcast work. We've got a lot of Montaigne essays, Sadler's Lectures podcast to release. So that will be coming up. I'm also currently editing some podcast episodes on the core concept videos I did years ago on Thomas Aquinas' treatise on law. And, more Mind and Desire podcast stuff for my Substack supporters. Subscribers rather. And, I don't know what I'm going to do after that. There's a lot of different directions that I could go, but, generally the Sadler's lectures, I'm converting stuff that's either from speculative fiction studies or core concept videos into podcast episodes. So that's what we've got coming up. I'll be doing a lot more volunteering with Almost Home. You'll see more cat pictures, maybe some cat videos if you're into that sort of thing. Trying to get out and taking more walks. Obviously, since I had my little fall, I'm not 100%, but I got to get out and start taking some more walks in this beautiful city that we have as the weather gets nicer. And I think that pretty much sums it up. Hope you have a great month ahead. And I hope that you can come to some of these online events. And, again, if you're interested in the Plato class, we still got a few slots open. I'll be closing enrollment probably sometime next week. So if you want to get in on it now, smart move. So that is it from me for April.